Hello, my name is Mindfiend and welcome to episode 5. I'm just repairing my enchanted tools here, getting them back up to full strength, and at this point I'm still having the problems that I had mentioned in episode 4, which is my recording program Action had an update and it no longer registered Minecraft as a game, so I couldn't record it that way. I didn't really know what to do. I'd found the workaround of recording desktop, but it just was uncomfortable and it wasn't feeling right, and I didn't want to start a big building project until I knew what to do about it. I was hoping it would just get patched and fixed, but nothing was mentioned, nothing seemed to be coming, so I decided to put things off and just do a bit of odd tasks. And the first task I thought I'll do is I'll come into the nether and I'll explore this nether fortress that we've found, that I've been walking past since we got it on, in the beginning of the series. Now, I couldn't find a way into it, but that's not really a problem, is it? When you've got a pickaxe, you can just dig your way into it. So that's exactly what I did. Started right there on the lava field and I dug a staircase up into the fortress itself. Don't know about you, but I always find fortresses a bit of a mixed feeling. You definitely need them. You're going to have to find one to get blaze powder, so you can make your enchant. Well, you need blaze rods for the potion making. You need blaze powder to power the potion making now. You also need a place to find nether warts to make the potions, and of course wither skeleton skulls. So they're an essential part of the game. You definitely need them. But I always find them a bit intimidating, really. So, you know, you're going to be encountering a lot of nasty stuff and a lot of dangerous stuff, and they are a very dangerous place, and blaze can be so annoying, especially since they changed them so they can see you from so far away and get to you. But I'd come prepared. I'd got a looting sword, and that was something I waited for before I came. That's one of the reasons I didn't come in straight away, is the looting makes a big difference. It really does. It makes a big difference to you getting the blaze rods. It makes a much higher chance of you getting with the skeleton skulls and everything. So it's just for me, it's a better idea just to wait until you can do that. It's not looting 3, it's only looting 2, but it really does improve the chances. And as you can see, I'm a bit of a sissy. I keep putting up these protection bars to stop wither skeletons having free roam of the corridors. But I was lucky enough to find this nether wart room more or less straight round the corner from where I entered. I've been really lucky with this seed. I don't think I've ever had a seed that's been as good and as giving as this one has been. It's been really nice to me so far. I'm a bit worried because I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop and it's going to do something nasty. I found some saddles, of course, but who needs saddles? I've been fishing for like mad for ages. I've probably got about 20 saddles. It's not going to be a problem. And then I came through the lava room into the exterior part of the fortress, which I'd not seen before, and there straight away in front of me is a blaze spawner. Need a blaze spawn. I'm going to turn it into a blaze farm, but it's in such a bad place. It's right open. They'll be able to fly up, fly out, be attacked by anything. It's not like one that was surrounded by nether rack or anything. It's going to be a challenge to convert it. Of course, having the fire resist potions will make it a lot easier than it could have been. But it's definitely an upcoming project at some point, is turning that into a blaze farm. The fortress itself hadn't seemed that big at all, really. There was like 6 or 7 corridors on the interior, then it led to an exterior where, as you can see, there's only like 6 or 7 corridors there and a blaze spawner. But as I killed this skeleton down in this corner here, I could see that there was like an upper floor. So I thought, well, I must have missed one upper floor inside. But while I'm here, I'm just going to have a quick glance at the blaze spawn itself and see how difficult it's going to be to transform into a farm. I know it's going to be difficult, but how difficult? But as I popped my head up, I saw the wither skeletons. So run! There's something about wither skeletons that instill a bit more fear than other mobs. I suppose it's the withering effect from them. It hit hard and withering effect, but just like the fortress themselves, they're a sort of like love-hate thing, because you definitely need them, and each one it's got this wonderful sort of like thrill to it, because as you kill it, you're thinking, am I going to get a wither skeleton skull? Am I going to get a wither skeleton skull? Please give me a wither skeleton skull. And it doesn't. It never does, really, you know. But there's that thrill with it, and I suppose I get it. The same sort of thrill with blaze as well, because I like the blaze rods. I feel like you can never have too many blaze rods, but yeah, the sort of like lottery gambling aspect of killing it with a skeleton skull does add certain amount of interest. But now I'm just checking around. I'm just trying to have a look at the whole fortress. That's the skeleton that fell off the side, and to make sure I get him. And then I came back to check this upper floor that I'd seen. I did find the way up. Of course, it's from the nether wart room. So there's a few more corridors up here to check. A couple of chests, a bit gold in that one. And then I found this group of 4 wither skeletons. I thought, oh great, let's see now, because I've got the looting sword, so I have got a higher chance. It's not like you feel like you're never going to get the skeleton skull. But I wasn't confident on standing there and fighting 4 at once. Luckily, I only pulled 2 to begin with. But each time it's a case of kill them. What's there? What's there? Is there a skeleton skull there? No, just call them bones. Darn it. But it's fun. I actually do enjoy them. And I find that if you kind of aim for the sword hand as well, it gives you that little bit of extra reach. Or maybe that's just another sort of like fake feeling of like hitting a leaf with a sapling gives you more saplings, etc. And then I met this guy, and he did it. He dropped it, and I got the chance to get my favourite ever advancement. I love this one.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
sorry, but I think that is just the best advancement in the entire game. I love the song. I love the I love the advancement. Every time I look forward to getting that. It's such a shame you can only get it the once. But my entire aim really with the Nether Fortress had been to get the stuff ready for potion brewing. Get myself some fire resist potions to make the Nether safer. With the skeleton skulls had just been a distraction, so I did the right thing. I thought I pushed my luck further enough. Now I've got a skull, I'll return home and I'll set up the potion brewing. Didn't need to put a lot down. When you're in single player, a couple of nether wart are going to get you all the potions you need very easily. As long as you harvest them regularly, you're going to have more nether wart than you'll ever need. But I am going to try to use potions a bit more. My main use for them has always just been the fire resist to protect myself in the nether. But they do have so much more use. Speed potions, strength potions. Had to put my trophy up on the wall. I know that's a bit much, is a skull just being a wall decoration, but nope, he's definitely the first one who's going up there. I also thought, right, well, I've got the blaze powder now, and I've already got a few ender pearls. I can make eyes of ender and get an ender chest going. I've got silk touch pickaxe, so in a way, you know, the ender chest becomes like a backpack before backpacks are in the game, or you know, it really increases your capacity to be able to carry items and protect items. If I could have just put that wither skull into an ender chest straight away, I wouldn't have had to worry coming back through the nether that I might die and lose it. So yep, straight away make a couple of ender chests. It's always like a landmark part of the game. Potion brewing, ender chests, you know, getting into the nether, getting into the end. There are certain steps. But then I really still didn't know what to do about the recording problem, and I didn't want to start. So again, I prevaricated. This time I dug a water droppavator down into the spider dungeon and the beginning of the abandoned mine shaft. I just thought I'll put one down there. but I wasn't really doing it with the intention of doing anything with it yet. It was just a case of something to do. And then it was at this point that my good friend Narlo came to the rescue, as he always does, and suggested that we swap from action recording through to the Open Broadcaster software, OBS, and try that free software. And I love it. It's so much better. I wish I'd found it years ago. But it meant I could get on with it. So I found this location on my land where I wanted to put this new building I decided to put down. I kind of got the idea that I wanted something to do with food. I needed to get a source of food going, and because I don't really want to be killing cows, I don't particularly want to try and sustain myself with beef, so I decided, well, I want to try and sustain myself with pumpkin pie or something at the moment, something baked goods, bread, etc, etc. And that led on to the idea of a bakery or a dessert shop, really, is what it's evolved into. So I started laying out this blocky bit of a building in just pure stone here. I've come to think of this as kind of like sketching, and I really enjoy the process. You put down this ugly block, but it gives you an idea of shape and size, and then you work on it until it comes better. During a quick caving break to gather a few more resources, I was just lighting up this vertical chimney when I found this poor little thing. This poor little chicken stuck all the way down here in the cave. I felt so sorry for her. I just couldn't leave her there. I really couldn't. So I carefully dug the way up, put the steps up, and she helped. She obviously wanted to get out. She really did. So she followed me all the way up, and then I got some seed and I led her to safety, and she's going to become an integral part now of this next build. On the same caving trip, I took down all the bits of the amethyst geode. That's where the amethyst shop's going to be, and I got nearly a double chest of resources of that, and there's a lot of nodes in there that are growing now. And so I could then get on with texturing the building, and I'm finding this such a pleasant process. It makes a big difference if you've got all the blocks to hand. That's what I'm learning slowly now, is that get a stock of the texture blocks you're going to be using, stone, brick, andesite, polished andesite, mossy cobble, etc., and have that on hand, so you can just sort of like just jump in and wallow in the process and really enjoy it. It's quite zen, and there's not really any huge thought that goes into it. It's just a case of, okay, well, I'll knock out this block and I'll put this here and see how the results go. And I'm never really done it before with Minecraft, and I'm really enjoying this part of the game now. It's been a bit of a revelation. I'd done that bit of caving because I wanted one block of amethyst. I wanted a very subtle musical note as you entered the shop. I didn't want to do it with a note box playing, so I thought I'll try the amethyst, and it works. It's subtle, but it works. Now, last year my wife and I went to Rome. We loved the place, and I have very fond memories of sitting outside a restaurant on the roadside cafe, on the tables outside under an awning, having some good food. So I wanted to try and give a nod to that here. I wanted an awning in front of the shop with a single table where people could go inside, buy the beautiful baked goods inside there, and then just savour them on this little table outside under an awning. And because I'm thinking of a female baker in there, I wanted it to be kind of bright and pretty and feminine, and this awning is supposed to evoke that, really drive it home, I suppose, in a way, really. But I'd never built anything like this before, and it was quite a process. I didn't want to shear our naturally spawned pink sheep. I wanted her to keep her wool. I went over to shear her, found I couldn't do it, so I had to go and get some dye and dye up a couple of sheep in the pen. I just couldn't take off her original fur. I wanted her to keep original wool. I wanted her to keep it. So I came back to the awning, and I thought, yep, we need some feminine colours. but also something that reminds you of delicious treats. And red and pink seem to scream candy to me, American candy. Like, we don't call it that here, we call them sweets. But there's something about red and pink that makes me think of the word candy. So I put the awning on, and I wanted it to come down like as though it was folding out from this little structure that's above the window here. I found that what I'd made felt too big, too bulky, so I tried to reduce it down a little bit by changing it to slabs, just to give like the impression of something that the awning will roll up into and fold up into. I'm quite pleased with the results. It is a bit bright and gaudy, but it's intended to be. The whole idea for this shop came about really with thinking about pumpkin pie and supplying pumpkin pie. But I want the baker to be very, very minimally self-sufficient. So in other words, I want her to have a small production of the resources she needs. She'll have to buy them in from other places mainly, but she will get just a fraction of her own way. And so I'm now building a chicken coop. Hey, don't judge me, I did warn you, I'm addicted to chicken coops. But this one's much more what I like. The yellow there is to signify the straw in the coop. And of course they'll lay the eggs into the hoppers and through into the egg barrel on the inside of the shop. And of course our old friend little cave chicken is now going to get the honour of being kept here, and she'll be loved and looked after by the baker, and she'll have a nice life here where she's fed good food, and she produces all eggs for these pumpkin pies. You can live there, girl. It's better than a cave. Now, as well as building pretty outside, building interiors is really not my thing. I've always struggled with it. I think a lot of people struggle more with interiors than with exteriors. But I did have a few basic ideas of what I wanted here. I wanted you to come into the shop and there be the serving area where the customers stand. Then there's the counter itself where you make your selection from all these beautiful baked goods where you're spoilt for choice. And then across the serving counter you can see into the heart of the store itself, the kitchen, and see the baker working at the oven and see her making all these treats for you. But I'm not very good at it, and I was trying to find inspiration on how to do all these different things like worktops and counters, and my initial thought with the row of barrels had been to put the different goods in there, but then somehow it felt wrong having them down against the floor, and I thought, well, I'll put them high up, so what do I make the counter out of? And then it came to me, I've never tried the new bamboo, so I'll put that down and try that as a counter. Once it's stripped, it's yellow and aged, and it's a sort of like a planky texture. And similar with the new mangrove wood, I've not tried that really, so put that down and see how that works for the seating outside, which it's okay. I just like the trap doors as the chair arms as well, and it does sort of like blend partly with the candy theme, the red treats theme, and it also catches the eye, which I suppose a shop front is supposed to do, isn't it? Although it is very noticeable at the moment in my world. Well, I've not got all the clutter around it. So moving the barrels up one had helped as well. It felt a lot better than being up there where the food could go. And I wanted the baker to be sort of like the centrepiece of the back part of the kitchen, and of course the centrepiece of any baker or cook's place is the oven itself. So I wanted that right in the middle where it could take pride of place and be easily seen. And I suppose, like chicken coops, I have a little bit of thing about brick ovens as well. Don't know why. But if you notice, I've put brick mantelpiece and ovens in my home. Put them in here. I'm always looking for a nice design. I like this here because I've decided to use the acacia as a grate or a grill. It works really well as it does acacia trapdoors, which the smoke can then rise through. I intend to put a little cake on there so it looks like it's being cooked and the steam is coming off it. And then came what I like to think of as the playing around with it, air quotes, section of the build, where it's a case of get a rough idea for something. Like here I thought, oh, I'll put in a kitchen work counter, and using up, down, stairs represents that sort of like work table thing. But then that inspired something else. I thought, well, yeah, but they're always clean and pristine looking in kitchens. They've got to be so clean. What signifies that better? Maybe quartz signifies a really clean worktop better. And I put the worktop down there. I'm going to move it in a minute because I came up with another idea for that corner there. I put a sink in the corner. And now that sink will get moved at some point too. And that was something I really took from this part of the build, was that you put down anything. Just put something in there. It might well inspire the next thing that you put in, or it might give you an idea of what to put next. Here I'm just putting in a couple of posters because I wanted to sort of like give the shop advertising posters kind of feel to it, maybe something like, say, oh, buy Cluckman eggs or something silly like, and that's what I was doing here. But yeah, put something in, anything, and it will make you think about it. There I changed the trapdoor to a metal one, which I think works a lot better. I didn't want to change it into the in the oven though, because I quite like the grill of the other one. Here I'm trying to put down like a temperature gauge for the oven. I do use a lot of item frames on here to put things on, to put signify things rested on the counter, or like a spoon or a knife on the counter and everything. I know there's the invisible item frame data pack thing, but I really don't want to go for invisible item frames. That's a little bit of a mod too far for me. So I compromise and leave them visible like this, and it works. It gives the impression of what it needs to. Then it was time to get an old friend, old Bessie. She's been with me right from the start. She was wandering around up near the wheat field and proposed windmill for the longest time, until I put her safely in the chicken coop. But she's been a great help to me, because whenever pillagers have been around and I've killed the captain and I get the bad omen effect, she's the cow I've been to get the milk to remove it. So I wanted her to come and have a home here where she will provide all the milk for the baker's cakes and everything now. And speaking of cakes, I made my first one and put it away in the first items chest. I don't keep every first item, just the sort of ones that I feel are a bit like landmarks really. And I will deal with that much more at a later date. And the idea of keeping it suddenly made me think to myself, well, yeah, because I'm useless at remembering certain recipes. Like the recipe for cake I have to look up every time, even though it's been in the game for years. It's just something I use so rarely that I always forget it. So it gave me the idea, put the recipes on the walls. Let's have the recipes up there where you can see them. And it help decorate the room. It was a really good thing to have. I'm quite just enjoying, I suppose is the word, but I'm absolutely loving the slow pace of the decorating and taking time to put things in. Like there you'll see I put shears for cutting things, and a wooden spade I'm going to use as a spoon, and it was a pleasure to decorate the place. I've taken too much off the cake on the counter. I want to eat that and then replace it with one that's only got one slice taken off, because those are partly there to block zombies climbing across whenever I do get villager and put a villager into the bakery. And there goes a cake on the cooling rack. Because, as I've mentioned, the idea here is eventually to put villagers into areas of this town. You've got to kind of consider their safety and their needs. For villagers to be very productive and work the trades to the best of their ability, you need them to be able to rest, you need them to be able to gossip. And so it was within that within mind that I suddenly thought, well, I need a bit more to this shop than what I intended. And so that's where the back of the shop has now come into place. There's a little lean-to at the back, very basic, for the baker to have her bed for her after nap, which is the break after during working that I'm going to be putting into the law, I suppose. And that, putting the shack at the back, then led me on to the, well, if the baker's got somewhere to live, I'm going to make somewhere nicer for old Bessie to live too. So the little cow shed came about through that. And it's all been slightly organic, in a case of one thought has led to the next. It doesn't all have to be pre-planned out. I'm sure it's much better if it's all pre-planned out. It really will be. But sometimes I used to find that very daunting, the idea of trying to pre-plan everything, and I'd end up locked to this state where I was that busy trying to plan it all, I couldn't actually do it or accomplish what I wanted. So with this, it's been a case of, don't worry about it. Be freeform. Do the bit you need now, and that bit will tell you what you need to do for the next bit. And for me, the next thing was building a single pumpkin plant that will be auto harvested for the baker, because as I've said, I do want her to be just a very minimalistic self-sufficient if she needs to be. So she will be able to have like a very small supply of pumpkin of her own, thanks to this observer, which will look at the pumpkin stem, and then when the pumpkin itself grows to either the block to the left or to the right, which I'll change to mud in a little while rather than dirt, but when the pumpkin grows, the stem bends to connect to it, and the observer will see that, fire the pistons, which will break the pumpkin, and it will be picked up by the minecart hoppers and put in the chest below. It makes her be able to have that small bit of her own supply. She will buy in her ingredients from other places. For example, her sugar she gets mainly from the paper mill. She buys in some of the spare sugar cane and makes it into sugar for the pumpkins, for the pumpkin pie. So in this little back room, there's just her bed and the little pumpkin farm. There I put down a lever to act as the tap that fills old Bessie's water pot. Doesn't have any. The lever doesn't do anything with the pumpkin machine behind it. And now it's just a case of putting on the little details now to round out the build. I love this campfires and plant pot to make chimneys. Having that smoke rising from the building is such a little touch, but it makes the building come alive. And it's so nice. And then I've just put a bit of greenery on here. I'm actually using jungle leaves because I like how green jungle leaves are and how they look to represent the ivy. I'm not sure this is going to stay, because when I build other buildings next to this and pathways around it, it'll probably change. But for now I'm just putting it there to give a bit of greenery and a bit of colour to the outside of the building. Placing things down, slightly tweaking and readjusting everything, because I wanted it to look like the ivy has grown over from the roof of the building. The roof I'm not very keen on. I don't know, I might end up changing. I tried something different. I tried a different shape and style of roof. I'm not really happy with it, but we'll see. I'll leave it and see how it feels. I did want a lower building, a lower shop, and there's a look at it from a distance through the spyglass with the hood removed. And I like the shop front. It's very bright, it does stand out, it's a bit gaudy. That will lessen as more and more buildings go in around it, I feel. But for the moment it does seem quite stand out in the world. I like little Bessie's lean-to cow shed at the back. It's come out quite well. That I like that bit at there, and then you can see my house behind. I put in an extra layer of slabs on the interior because I got annoyed with the rain constantly dripping through the ceiling. Oh, why did they do that to us? And then it's just a case of signing the building, 13th of February 2024. And I like the shop. It's come out in many ways better than expected. Like I said, the roof I'm not happy with, but the rest of it, yes, yeah. The outside's got a bit of greenery there. You can see through the cowshed here. If I need to get some milk from Bessie, I can just lean through there and get it. Or then you can come in here past her little shed and the small garden that the baker's got, into the tiny cramped quarters where she gets her own supply of pumpkins. She's already got 4 in there, that's great. And her bed for the after nap, and into the kitchen part. I'm really pleased with this. This has been a joy to build. I like the idea of having the recipes up on the walls and everything, which will help somebody like me with a poor memory. And then all the different features here. She's even got like a golden apple on there that she's working on. She's got the spoon for lifting, or maybe the spoon for lifting the cake out of the oven and everything. On the walls there are paintings, posters advertising Cluckman eggs. I'm going to call it that now. That's stuck. And all the different ingredients in the barrels that I can get to. Pumpkin pie is the main one. That was the entire reason for building this. That was what I wanted. I wanted a place to get pumpkin pie, and it evolved all from that. I already got quite a nice supply of eggs thanks to Cave Chicken and her partner. And then on the front we've got a cake and biscuits and pie on the shelf there, wafting the delicious aromas around and encouraging people to come in and buy. So now we'll just have a look at it from the top of my house, looking down at the bakery from up here. As I say, the bright colours of the awning stand out quite a lot, and the roof I'm not happy with, but the rest, yes. I love the little chicken coop, I love the bakery. And so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed this. I've been Mindbeans. You guys, as always, have been wonderful. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.